If you like tricking, confusing, making your enemies feel like they're a bot, then you're going to want to use the legend we are featuring today. My name is TimProVision. Welcome back. Thanks so much for stopping by. The legend we're talking about today is Mirage. Mirage is a completely different type of legend than all the other legends in the game. He can be one of the toughest to excel with, but once you have him figured out, boy, can he be one of the most frustrating and difficult legends to go up against. Mirage is one of a kind, and there's almost an infinite number of things you can do with him. Today we're going to give you all the tips and tricks you need to start with your journey mastering the Bamboozle King himself, Mirage. Today we're going to look at everything Mirage has to offer. We're going to take a look at his passive, his tactical, and his ultimate abilities. And I'm going to provide you guys with some in-game examples of different scenarios for you to use him in. There's an infinite number of things you can do with Mirage, which makes him super special, but at the same time, it requires a lot of creativity on your part and a lot of patience for you to master Mirage. So I hope you're up for the challenge. If you guys want to support me and or if you like the video, hit the like button and of course subscribe to the channel. The main focus around here is to help you guys improve your game, and I would love for you to come back and check out some of my other videos and to be part of the Visionaire community. We have already done guides on both Wraith and Bangalore, so if that interests you, check them out. Links will be in the description. And with that out of the way, guys, let's jump right into this Master Mirage guide. So let's start with the most basic of Mirage's abilities, and that's his passive ability. His passive ability has to do with being invisible. So one, you can be invisible when you're reviving people, which is pretty clutch. And then second, you can also be invisible when you're on a respawn beacon bringing someone back. Mirage is honestly probably the top one, maybe two, right behind Lifeline when it comes to revives, because you can't be seen. The one thing to keep note of though, is you do not want to see an enemy when you're dropping down on someone. They'll see you go in there and they'll still know where you are. And the other thing is, you're pretty easy to hear when you're reviving, so they can definitely track you down if they're trying really hard. And the final little thing is that when you get down, you're going to go invisible for a few seconds, which does help you kind of live. It means someone can't really finish you off right away. So this is a little add-on for Mirage also. So now let's start getting into the fun part of the video, and we're going to talk about Mirage's tactical ability called Psych Out, also known as bamboozling people. This is pretty easy to begin with, but is extremely complex to get down and do it well. So for starters, you're basically just putting a decoy that's running in a straight line in front of you, and you have the ability to control this decoy as well now. Basically, the decoy will mimic every single movement you're making when you are controlling it. So this can be extremely tricky to verify which is the real person and which is the enemy, which is kind of where we're getting into the trickery and bamboozling of Mirage. This ability is going to require a lot of time and a lot of patience to master and do it well. The first scenario that I want you guys to think of when using Mirage's tactical ability is to use it to get information. And Mirage will give you an audible cue if someone does shoot your bamboozle, so keep that in mind. And you're going to see here on screen, I'm basically just sending my decoy out in front of me so I can loot the bin. So maybe someone will shoot the decoy instead of me, just kind of give me a little bit more of a safety net. So if they do shoot it, I can pop out of that box and be ready to fight. Second up, I can hear someone walking around me. I'm not quite sure where they are, so I'm putting the decoy down to the building. I'm trying to see if they'll shoot at the decoy from inside the building, so I can just get a little bit more information as to where my enemy is, because I'm not sure. So keep that in mind. You can use Mirage's decoy to just get information and to trick people into thinking you are the decoy. Next up, we're going to the firing range just to show you guys a basic way that you can use the decoy to rotate. In the past, before you could control the decoy, a lot of people would just send the decoy out in front of you, and this would kind of just alert you that the person is running behind it because you couldn't control it. But now that you can control the decoy, what I want you to do is to put the decoy in place, run in front of it, and then control it. This will make the decoy run behind you, and a lot of people won't expect that the decoy is running behind you, so it'll give you a little bit of cover as you're running across the open or you're trying to rotate. Moving on, I want you guys to also use the decoy to side peek or corner peek. And basically this means you put the decoy in one spot and then you come out around the other side of the wall. Now the enemy is not quite sure which to shoot at until you're actually shooting. So this is a great thing I like to do a lot in mid-range fights. I'll put the decoy in one side, I'll pop out the other side and shoot at them. So basically the enemy is going to be targeting the first person that came around the wall, because that is just human instinct. They're going to target the first thing that they see and shoot at it. So I'm getting a couple shots in here that are completely uncontested since they're not shooting at me. And this is a great thing to do just to kind of have a little bit more safety when shooting at longer ranges. So this means your decoy can be useful even if the enemy is not right next to you. And another basic thing to do with the decoy that's pretty obvious but it's worth saying, deploy the decoy as you're about to push into a fight. This can really just give another layer of confusion that the enemy has to kind of rework his brain and think about how, oh, that's actually a decoy I'm shooting at, and here comes the real enemy popping out and shooting me in the back or whatever. So keep that in mind. If you're about to go into a fight, even a close range fight, if you're deploying that decoy and then you're popping out a half second later, that can be pretty huge. They might put a 5 or 6 bullets of an automatic gun into that person, so now they're a little bit lower on ammo and you have all that ammo still, and they're kind of not aimed on you anymore, which is huge in a close range fight. So you can kind of just completely obliterate them if they are really focusing on that decoy. So keep that in mind. And the final thing I want to mention that a lot of people don't do because it is risky, but it's worth mentioning, is you can self decoy. And a lot of times if someone is walking across the map, I won't shoot at them because I'm thinking it's the decoy. So keep this in mind. If you want to just walk across the map and act like the decoy, sometimes it works. Obviously it's very risky, but it could work in some scenarios, so keep that in mind. And of course guys, like I said earlier in this video, actively be thinking about how you can use your decoy and be extremely creative with it. These are just a few options that you can do with the decoys, but there's a lot of things you can do out there. So keep that in mind as you're trying to master Mirage. So the final thing I want to cover in this video is Mirage's ultimate ability, and its ultimate is called Life of the Party. Basically it spawns 6 clones at once as soon as you pop it, and as soon as you pop this ultimate, it also will give you about 1 second of initial invisibility. This makes it great for escaping and pushing into fights. It kind of gives you that complete invisibility, plus it spawns 6 of you. It can give a lot of confusion when you are trying to get away or get into a fight. It makes it really hard for an enemy to lock on initially to what one is actually you. And this really completes Mirage with the whole trickery, bamboozling, and deceiving your enemy. And again, of course, we're going to go over a few different scenarios where you can use this ultimate to really benefit yourself and your team. The very first thing I want to talk about is to use this ultimate as a pushing technique. As you can see here, I am on top of Fragment West in the heart of it. I'm trying to figure out where the enemies are, so I actually pop this to figure out where they are. So my decoys go all the way down the stairs. They're mimicking what I'm doing. And as soon as they get to the bottom, the enemy starts shooting at them. This means me and my teammate now know where they are. So we drop down and we have pretty good recon as to where they are. So we drop down and we're able to finish these guys up. My teammate gets knocked, but since I know where they are, I can clean them up right here. And this goes right back to where we were talking about Mirage's decoys. It's great to not only kind of deceive your enemy, but it's also great to get that information so you can make that play. And the ultimate comes back extremely quick. I didn't mention that in the beginning of this section, but the ultimate recharge rate is really high, so you can spam this thing quite often in games. So keep that in mind. You get this thing back a lot, so don't be afraid to use it. And the second scenario I want to go over with this ultimate ability is what a lot of people use it for, and that's just to escape out of situations. You do get that 1 second of invisibility when you pop this ultimate, plus you get 6 clones, so this can be really great to escape. Do keep in mind if the enemy is close to you, they're going to see you go from invisible to appearing again, so this can be kind of easy to shoot at you if you're fighting an experienced player. So just be aware of who you're playing when you're playing Apex. It's always good to know who your enemy is. But this is the second situation. Use your ultimate to escape. The third scenario I want to talk about with this ultimate ability is to use it to cause mass confusion. And this is a little bit of a panic move on the player's part, and it is kind of a combination of both escaping and pushing. But you'll see on screen here, I get into a really bad situation where I get pinched from either side of this one team, and I don't really have anywhere to go. So I pop this ultimate in the state of panic, kind of in a state of one last desperate act. This Rampart's trying to shoot me. She has no idea which one I am. I end up kind of just shooting her right in the side because she's completely oblivious. Not really that she's completely oblivious, but she doesn't know which one I am because of that mass confusion. So just make sure you're using the ultimate to cause mass confusion and kind of as a last resort scenario where maybe you'll have a chance to get out of the situation because you're Mirage. If I was any other legend in this situation, I would have been dead really quick. So definitely keep in mind that you can use your ultimate to cause mass confusion and get out of some situations. And finally, guys, this is something that's not quite as relevant as it was in past seasons. I don't really recommend doing this because you are invisible now when you're reviving, but you can pop the ultimate and then go into a revive. However, this will of course kind of alert the enemy that you are reviving someone nearby, because I'm pretty sure your clones will not disappear. But it's still worth noting that you can pop the ultimate and then go down on a revive. It kind of just causes a little bit more confusion because there's a lot of you still on screen, so maybe the enemy is going to try to shoot, you know, your clone who is visible when you're invisible doing the revive. So just keep that in mind. So that's it for the ultimate, guys. Use it to push, use it to escape, use it to cause confusion, and maybe use it to revive your teammate. And guys, that is everything to get you on your way to mastering Mirage. I hope this guide was helpful. Of course, guys, be extremely creative with Mirage. Keep thinking of different ways you can use Mirage to kind of confuse your enemies and get the advantage over them. Let me know if I left anything out in the comments that you might think is important. There's a lot you can do with Mirage, so let me know down there. And guys, if you like this video and you want to support me again, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. If you have any more questions and you want to talk to me, you can stop by my Twitch channel. I stream almost daily, and you can join our Discord. We have a great community and we're growing over there. And if you want to talk to me, that is the definite best way to get in touch with me. I get notifications on my phone and I'm pretty responsive. So guys, again, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace out, everyone.